Close your eyes. Now imagine waking up in a completely different world. This time, you're not watching the story, you're living it.
Okay, picture this. 1 second, you're swinging between familiar skyscrapers. You've got that exact rhythm down, the wind in your face, the concrete drops. But the next second, the world around you simply isn't there anymore. Literally, no buildings, no streets, no web lines to catch. Just this terrifying, weightless free fall as you plummet through empty space, completely panicking as gravity pulls you down into the unknown.
And then comes the impact. It's this breath-stealing slam onto solid gold stone that knocks the air straight out of your lungs. As you look up, your stomach drops even harder than the fall did, because looking around, there's exactly one structure tall enough to swing from in this entire bizarre realm. It's a massive, gleaming golden palace rising in the distance, connected to absolutely nothing but empty sky and this shimmering rainbow bridge stretching out toward the horizon. Everything else below you, just small, quiet houses. Not exactly built for a web slinger at all, right?
But before you can even process where you've landed, the ground violently shudders beneath your feet. And trust me, it's not an earthquake. It's something much, much worse. Past the edge of the realm, the sky itself begins to glow this unnatural, furious red. It literally looks like the distant horizon is bleeding fire.
And then comes the voice. It's this deep, ancient voice, echoing across the entire realm. A booming promise of ash and ruin. Now, even without understanding the exact words being spoken, the terrifying feeling underneath them is perfectly clear. A massive, very unfriendly presence is coming, and it's coming right now.
Suddenly, a warrior descends from the Golden Palace steps. Yep, it's Thor. Hammer in hand, his cape snapping violently in the wind, and he's wearing an expression carved from pure, grim determination. He doesn't even look the slightest bit surprised to see a masked stranger suddenly standing in his realm. He strides right up and delivers this commanding, completely unfazed ultimatum to you. He just looks at you and says, "If you can fight, fight now. If you can't, run."
So, still catching your breath from the fall, you do the only thing you know how to do in a tense situation. You manage a shaky, nervous joke about not really having a choice either way. And instinctively, you just kind of follow the thunder god out toward that shimmering rainbow bridge.
But the first real problem hits almost immediately. You fire a web line toward what you instinctively assume is a building, but it just sails uselessly past empty air. There is absolutely nothing familiar to anchor to out here. It's a completely open sky, meaning your usual tactics are practically useless. So you're forced to improvise, frantically, on the spot. You aim high, clumsily, but effectively anchoring your web to the massive palace spire itself. You use that singular point to build massive momentum, literally swinging across a realm built for gods, not acrobats. It's terrifying for sure, but it works just enough to get you moving. And then the nightmare arrives. Surtur. He appears like a literal mountain given legs and fire for a soul. We're talking about a colossal, molten giant easily 10 times the size of you or Thor, wearing a blazing crown of flame. Every single blazing footstep he takes cracks the golden stone of the bridge beneath him. Thor charges without a single second of hesitation, his hammer crackling with raw lightning. But as lightning meets magma, even Thor's most brutal, earth-shattering strikes barely seem to slow the demon down. You watch in absolute horror as one massive swing of Surtur's molten blade connects. It sends Thor, a literal god of thunder mind you, skidding backward across the bridge. He's overwhelmed, his ancient armor is scorched, and he is breathing hard. Your instincts immediately take over. You fire web after web at Surtur's massive arm, trying the exact same trick that saved you 100 times back home. But the webbing catches fire almost instantly. It just disintegrates against the intense, overwhelming heat of the demon before it can even begin to slow him down. A terrifying realization washes over you here. Every single tool you've ever relied on, every web, every tactic, might be completely useless in this realm. You are fighting a god's war, and for one terrifying second, you feel completely, utterly powerless.
But then the momentum shifts. You look down and notice the raw, cosmic energy of the Bifrost humming right beneath your feet, and suddenly it clicks. If your webs won't hold against the fire, well, maybe they don't need to touch Surtur at all.
You formulate a desperate new strategy. You start firing lines down at the bridge's support arches beneath you. You use the structure's own immense power to build blistering momentum, swinging in these massive, blinding arcs around Surtur's head. The goal? To draw his attention away from Thor exactly long enough for the god to get back on his feet.
And you actually fall into a desperate, unplanned rhythm together. You're darting and distracting, forcing the massive demon to swing wildly at a fast-moving target he just can't quite catch. Meanwhile, Thor uses those distractions to land heavy, devastating strikes on the openings you create.
It's a clumsy, incredibly painful fight. But you know what? This relentless tag team dynamic is actually working. Slowly, painfully, against all odds, your agility combined with his raw power is starting to turn the tide of this battle.
But then, the tension spikes to its absolute peak. Surtur raises his blazing blade for one last, realm-ending strike aimed directly at the Bifrost's core. It's the one blow that could shatter the bridge and doom Asgard for good.
Thor summons a blinding, chaotic storm of lightning for one final push. And you, completely out of options and honestly out of time, fire your absolute last web line directly around Surtur's blade arm. You pull back and hold on with everything you have, fighting the impossible heat just long enough to keep that apocalyptic blade from falling.
And because of your hold, Thor's decisive strike lands dead center. The impact is absolute. The roaring demon staggers, lets out one final roar, collapses, and finally dims into harmless embers right across the scorch marks of the Rainbow Bridge.
In the aftermath, complete silence falls over Asgard. Thor turns to you, an exhausted, scorched stranger who just fought a god's war without a single godlike power of your own. He simply nods. It's a look of ultimate respect that doesn't need a single word.
You're battered, catching your breath on a cosmic bridge in a realm you still don't fully understand. So, you break the epic tension the only way Spider-Man can. You manage one final, tired joke. So, does this place have pizza?
That's exactly what it would feel like to fight beside a god in a world with no skyscrapers, no safety net, and absolutely nothing but raw courage to hold the line. So I leave you with this final thought. Do you think Spider-Man could really survive long-term in a war meant for gods? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to this Explainer series for more deep dives into these incredible crossover scenarios.